everyone, welcome to the Have Knitting Podcast. My name is Christy. Today is Monday the 12th of September. No, it's not my usual recording day. In fact, it's 10:35, so it's not even my usual recording time. I usually record after I've done grocery shopping. But we got back from preschool drop-off and my littlest boy, Judah, lost it. And I got him changed and dressed and gave him a big hug and went, you're tired. I think you just need to go down for a sleep. So he's been sleeping for about an hour. So hopefully I can get this done before he wakes up. And then we'll go do our grocery shopping. Hooray. Yeah, my life has been so out of routine recently. So out of routine. But that's okay. I'm flexible. So anyway, I hope that you're keeping well. I didn't record last week because last week was crazy busy. And the days, I was home Tuesday last week, but I was really tired because we'd had an incredibly busy Monday and I had a child home and my 10-year-old stayed home. So I just decided not to record, and then the only other day I had available to record was Friday, and I'm like, well, I'll be recording again at the beginning of the week, so I'll just leave it. So the highlights of my last week include watching Father's Day, which is a bit of a write-off because I wasn't well. My poor husband, Father's Day, he had to cook his own dinner. Slack wife. Who gets sick on Father's Day? Hey? Watching my 10-year-old daughter Amelia perform at the Blue Mountains and Nepean Dance Festival, which is pretty exciting to see her perform with her school. And I have to say, I'm so proud of her. She was second. She's in second row, and she's quite petite. So the girl that she was behind is taller than her, which is fine. But her face and her energy just lit up that stage. I mean, there were a few kids that were like that. The girl in front of my daughter was not one of them. In fact, for the evening performance, we snuck in to watch. We didn't have tickets, but they were right towards the end of the night, and there were a lot of parents that had already left because they've got kids in primary school. By the time Amelia performed in the evening performance, it was like 8:30 or after. So she was really tired. And she actually, when we walked in, because we dropped her off at the theatre where they were performing, I took my 12-year-old Jemima down with me, and then Jemima and I did some shopping. We went to a Kmart that's open for 24 hours, and we wandered around there for a little while, and then we went to Coles, which is a supermarket, and grabbed some milk and some other bits and pieces that we needed. And then we went back to the performance theatre where the kids were, and discovered that the library next door was open until 8 or something. So we wandered around. We love libraries, my daughter and I. So Jemima and I wandered around the library for about half an hour. I found a whole stick of knitting books, which was pretty exciting because it's better than my local library, or like the collection is better than my local library. Wandered around there for a little while, and then we went into the theatre to see where the kids were up to, and it was still another half an hour. It was like 8 o'clock, 7:45 or so when we walked in, maybe a little bit later, and my 10-year-old is lying on the floor with somebody's pillow just about asleep. So it had been a really, really, really long day for her. So, and they didn't get on stage until closer to 8:30. And but once she was on that stage dancing, oh my goodness, her face, just massive smile, full of energy. The girl in front of her, who was in the front row, was chewing on gum and doing the dance moves really half-heartedly. I was really disappointed that with the child in front of my daughter, because apparently she's a better dancer, which is why she was put in the front row, but then she lacked the enthusiasm and the joy that my daughter had. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her mum, I'm saying that because that was what I saw on stage. And I ended up, because I mean, I'd already seen the dance on Monday morning, so I paid a little bit more attention to the rest of the kids in the evening performance. You know, I mean, mainly watching my daughter, but watching the other kids as well a little bit more, because I'd already seen my daughter perform once. But the girl in front of her ended up being a distraction because I could see her chewing on this gum. Sorry. So that was really it was exciting to watch her dance, but at the same time it was a little bit frustrating because of this other kid who really shouldn't have been in the front row. Not that I'm a dance teacher, not that I'm in charge of dancing things up at the school, not that I even know the teacher that is in charge. And she wasn't there either because she's gone on maternity leave, so it was another 2 teachers. And the girl that was in the front row, I think, is finishing primary school this year, so it's not like my daughter will have to compete with her next year. Not that it's a competition. Anyway, that's my rant for today. So it was a lot of fun watching Amelia perform. It was exhausting. So she was home. She was home on Tuesday. I just kept her home because she was really tired. And coming down with a cold, and I was really tired. And then the rest of the week was just spent crazy busy. And then Saturday, crazy busy. And then Sunday, crazy busy. And then today I had to have Adelaide, my 4-year-old, at not at preschool, but on the other side of the suburb where she does preschool, because they were going for a bushwalk this morning, which is fantastic. But when I got her out of the car, do you think she wanted to leave my side? No. No, I'm going to hold on to your legs and not let go and make it really difficult for you to walk, Mum. But that's okay. She's gone. I hope she's having a good time. I really do. There's a whole lot of other dramas involved in that I'm not going to tell you about because you don't want to know. But suffice to say, I mean, if you've got kids, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's always dramas. Dramas just follow your children. I mean, whatever the case may be, whether it's, you know, got to do with toileting or dressing or, you know, like my Adelaide only ever wants to wear skirts. Or, you know, there's kid dramas, you know, with other kids, you know. There's always dramas. Who needs soap operas? I reckon people who watch soap operas really lead boring lives because who needs more drama in their life? No offense if you watch soap operas. I used to watch them too. It was a really hard habit to break. Anyway, and yeah, so it's been really busy. I did get to go to knit night on Friday night, which is so much fun. I was hanging out with my Knomies. That is, if any of you ladies are watching that, actually all of you who are knitters watching this, you realize you're my Knomies. I used to call you my neeps, you know, like knitting peeps, but now you're my Knomies, knitting homies. Oh dear. So yeah, so if I start next episode and say, hey Knomies, you know what I mean. Crazy busy, insane in the membrane. Is that a song? Probably. I don't know. I've had a huge amount of fun recently introducing my children to music from the 1990s. So Nirvana was one of them. Spice Girls I'd heard of before, but now my 10-year-old and 12-year-old daughters are a little bit obsessed with Spice Girls. And then Barbie Girl. Does anybody remember that song? Was a recent introduction. And the reason being was that we were listening to all of this 90s music, and I remembered that song, and my mum, of all people, liked that song. And so I think I wanted to send it to my brother over, like, via Facebook. And so, of course, I had to let my kids listen to it because they're all going, what's this Barbie Girl song? My 4-year-old Adelaide knows the words. She's, oh no, listened to it 2 or 3 times, and she walks around the house singing it. And she does the little, if you watch the video clip, there's a little bit at the end where Barbie goes, I'm having so much fun, Ken, or whatever. I love you, Ken, or something. And she says it. She says the whole thing verbatim, including what Ken says. And it is hysterical watching her do it. But I really don't like that song. And my 12-year-old watches it and goes, Mum, that song's so weird. It's so inappropriate. How is that even Barbie? Barbie doesn't have tattoos. And my response is Barbie does have tattoos if you've been drawing on Barbie. But yes. So we've been having fun, hanging with my Knomies, listening to bad 90s music and running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you are, wherever you are, enjoying whatever you're doing, and that you are not half as busy as I have been. I will say this though, I do sleep well at night. I'm so busy during the day that there is no chance of me not being able to sleep deeply. Okay, so this episode's pretty exciting because I have a giveaway to announce, or a winner. I have a winner to announce. I have a hoe. I don't know why I'm dancing. And I'm not talking about a garden hoe either, or the hoe that you might find standing on a street corner. Did I just say that? And some yarn. I have yarn to show you. So what shall we start with? Do you want to see my hoe? Okay, so this is in my Knit Stitch and Bits bag. I don't know, Katie, are you still selling bags? Because every time I look at your Etsy store, it says that it's closed. So anyway, this is my bag from Knit and Stitch Bits, and she was selling quite prolifically, but go check out her Etsy store. Maybe it's open again. And this is my Knit Picks Felici Balloon Ride. Well, that's what the colour of the yarn is. This is how much I've got left, which is a decent amount, hey? And this is the sock. I finished this on Saturday night. I kitchened the toe. I knit it over 64 stitches on 2.5mm needles, and I did the Vanilla Is the New black heel. And I put these on Saturday night after I kitchened the toe, and I just was sitting there admiring them, and my husband walks around the corner, because it's on the other side of the table, and he walks around the table, looks at my sock and goes, "Oh, you finished it?" I said, "Yeah." I mean, I was kitchenering the toe while the kids were finishing their dinner. I already finished eating, but I didn't want to sit there doing nothing, so I'd started doing it. Started grafting the toe. And so I was just sitting there, and he walked around the corner and he went, "Oh, I see you've finished it." He said, "That fits really well." Like, he noticed the heel and how well that fit my foot. How awesome is my husband? He is awesome. So yeah, so I still love this heel. It is probably, I don't know how well it wears. I mean, like, you know, in terms of longevity, but I'm really, really, really happy with it. I really, 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 really like it. I'm curious to know what it would be like. I think there's a reverse garter stitch or reverse stocking stitch one, but I think I actually like the ribbing. Anyway, so that's done. I'm not sure whether I want to start on the next one straight away or not. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with that. Whether I'll do another sock and then come back, or what. So yeah, so just normal round, normal wedge toe. Because you're increasing for the heel, the stripes did get a little bit thinner. I don't know if you can see that. And then I skipped a colour as well. I skipped this darker blue, but you know what? I don't care. I just don't care. It's going to be my shoe. I'm not going to be looking at my foot going, why doesn't it look perfect? So that's my hoe. And that is, I've been knitting that for the Socks with Stripes knit along that I'm hosting with Moira from Knitting in Stitches. That runs until the end of the month. So you've still got some time if you want to participate. Any stripes, any socks, any weight, it's all good. I do have another pair of socks that I've been knitting. Well, actually, I haven't knitted on them for about a month. Maybe I should finish them now that I'm finished that sock, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's done. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, so participate. I've got, prizes. So, I forgot one of them. Okay, so what I'm about to show you is one of the prizes for the Socks with Stripes knit along. So, and I didn't make any. I know I said last time that I would try and make fairy bread for this episode, but I have no white bread in the house. If I had been able to do my grocery shopping beforehand, which was the plan, I would have brought white bread and I would have made a piece of fairy bread for you to see. So I'll try to do that next time. But this is a fairy bread charm that I have a lobster clasp that I bought that I will attach at some stage. It doesn't really want to show up very well. So that's fairy bread. So it's a piece of white bread with sprinkles on it. Nonpareils, whatever you want to call them. And you put margarine on it, sprinkle on top. Because you so want to see my hands. So yes. So that is that. I got this because fairy bread is fairly iconically Australian. And when I saw these, I thought I've got to give one of these away. So if you enter, you will go in the running to win a little Progress Keeper, fairy bread Progress Keeper. How awesome. And seriously, the next giveaway I do, there'll be another one of these. So if you're looking at this going, oh my goodness, you Aussies are crazy, I really want one of those, there will be more giveaways to come because this, quite frankly, is awesome. And the really, really awesome thing about this is that the person who made it and sold it is 15. I know I said last time that I would put the address in the down bar on YouTube, and I have to apologize because I didn't do that, and I didn't realize until the other day that the last time I recorded, I was under it wasn't just that my kids were sick. That wasn't the only reason I was upset. I was under a huge amount of emotional strain that day in particular, and I'm already starting to tear up thinking about it. And it was a really, 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 really rough week. And so by the time I recorded on Tuesday, I didn't upload it until Friday or Saturday. I think it might have been even Saturday night. I'd completely forgotten. Oh no, maybe it was Friday night. I can't remember. But I had completely and utterly forgotten about that. So I'm really, really, really sorry. I will put it in. I'll also link it in Ravelry today as well. So by the time you see this, there'll already be links around for it. So you may have to go hunting through the Have Knitting group on Ravelry because I'm not quite sure where I'll stick it, but you'll be able to find it. So yeah. We all have moments like that, don't we? You know, weeks or months or whatever that are just really draining emotionally, and that's okay. We are not immune to to struggles, and I think it's okay to admit that, and it's okay to admit that publicly as well. I mean, obviously I am because this is my podcast, but it's okay to say that things are not okay and that you're not okay. And if you're not okay, reach out and talk to somebody. Just do it, because it's not worth carrying the weight of whatever you're carrying around on your own. And that's my public service announcement for the day. So yes, so I guess in saying that, I just wanted to let you know that it wasn't just, I mean, my kids being sick was obviously added to what I was feeling. But yeah, there was a lot more going on the last time I recorded. And I wanted to, yeah, I didn't want to be flippant about that and just say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do this. You know, didn't do what I said I would. I didn't do it because by the end of the week, my brain was fried because I had been through so much that week. And that while I may present a certain persona on the podcast, you know, like I try to be fairly upbeat because there are just so many negative people in the world and I don't want to add to that. I have my bad days and my bad weeks and those days where I would like to crawl into a corner and cry like everyone else, or just as much as everyone else. So, you know, I have those people in my life that want to drag me down and make me feel less of a person and whatever. And I struggle with issues, you know, around maybe not depression so much, but around anxiety and stuff as well. So probably a little bit around depression, but I try to be aware of my mental health. So yeah, so it's, you know, it's okay to have a bad day and it's okay. It's okay. It's just okay. And for those of you that may record a podcast, it's okay to be real as well. because I know that I've really appreciated that when other people have gotten on their podcast and they've just said, you know, I'm having a really rough week, but I wanted to record anyway. And they may not share everything. I'm obviously not sharing everything that's happened for me. And that's okay. But we are human. So, yeah, it's not a TV show where everything's scripted and my life is not perfect. As much as I wish it was. Anyway, that is my public service announcement for today. And we've barely talked about knitting. I'm going to have another sip of water. Knomies. So, I'm going to show you the other charm just in case you didn't see last week, or you just want to see it again, or just because I want to show you again. And that's his backside. This gorgeous 15-year-old girl also does little gingerbread man. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. I think I shall call him Eric. Eric the gingerbread man. And he will be, maybe he doesn't like that. Do you want Frederick instead? He turned around. Did you see that? He turned around. I don't want to, that's not my name. Maybe it's Frederick. Call him Freddy. Hey, Freddy. It doesn't look like a Freddy. Henry? Is your name Henry? I don't know. I don't know why I tried to name him. Anyway, so this, I also got this from the little girl, she's not little, 15-year-old girl in Western Australia that makes these really, really awesome little charms, which I'm going to turn into a progress keeper. So she's so talented. So talented. I'm scared it'll break though, because as you can see, it's really quite thin. But I actually think it has more chance of surviving on my knitting than on a piece of jewellery. Because I've got kids. So, as long as I can keep my knitting out of the way of my children and not sit on it. But that's very super cute. So, shrug. Let's talk about my Havana shrug. So, I am up to the lace section on my shrug. And I'm losing stitches, as you do. So I've gone down a couple of needle sizes. I'm now knitting on a 3.75, I think it is. Yeah, 3.75. Knit prosing. Love this needle. This is the lace section. I've done 2 kind of repeats of the lace. It's on over 400 stitches, so it does take a little bit longer to get around. But that's okay. When I started the lace section, so the last time I recorded, I was just about ready. I think I was finishing off just doing the stocking stitch bit in the round. So on the pattern picture, which has been ripped by my 1-year-old, but I can still show you. So on the pattern picture, you may be able to see it on this side, there's a purl bump, like a purl ridge, just before the lace starts. Now, I really, really, really like that look. But it's been omitted from the pattern, so I put it in. As you know, if you've been watching for a while, I'd spoken to the designer. So I put the purl ridge in. I just did it on the 5mm needles. You may not be able to see it too well. And then I started on the lace section, and my yarn started breaking. And I mean, it was breaking. It was breaking. It broke so much. And not only was it just breaking as I was knitting, when I was doing the lace, because it's knit three together stitches. So it wasn't just knitting in the section that I was working on. It was also breaking in the row below. And it became incredibly stressful. I didn't know what to do. I asked on Ravelry, and I got when I asked on Ravelry, I specifically said that I didn't want to use a contrasting yarn because I really like the Debbie Bliss Cash Merino. No, it's not Cash Merino. I said that last time too. The Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal Tweed. I really like this yarn. I didn't want to use a contrasting yarn because I thought it would take away from it. Because I really, really like this yarn. So I asked about it on Ravelry. One of the other Ravelers that replied agreed with me. And in the end suggested that maybe the only thing that I could do would be to swap the lace pattern. Somebody else said that I should just use a contrasting yarn, and that some of the other projects had been done with the contrasting yarn. I think there was one or two. You know, like neglecting the fact that I had said, no, I don't want to do that because I like this yarn. And then said that I shouldn't be having that amount of trouble with the yarn, and there was a fault with my yarn. And so by that stage, I'd already sort of ripped back and was fiddling around with different lace patterns. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I'm a really tight knitter, and it was my tension, because when I was just doing knit two togethers in the other lace pattern, I was paying particular attention to my tension and to the way I was knitting. And so I'd loosened up my tension a fair bit, and I wasn't having any breakages. So, and this person Ravelry said that, that the yarn can't be that fragile, but it is. I promise you it is. It doesn't take much to break it. And so, you know, the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about the yarn in comparison to other single ply yarns that I have, and either loosely spun single plies like the Brooklyn Tweed Loft that I've worked with before and I've had break on me, I realized that it was my tension. So on the Monday that my daughter performed down at the dance festival, as we were leaving the car park, my husband, the power steering in the car locked up, and my husband drove into the curb. Or the gutter, or whatever you want to call it. The car is okay, but he shredded the front tyre. So we had to stop so he could change the tyre, obviously. I'm so glad he was with me. And my 1-year-old son, Judah, in the back seat lost it because he was ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden the car wasn't moving. So I put him in his pram and I walked up to my local yarn store, and I went in and I talked to the one of the ladies in there about it, and she suggested, well, actually she didn't suggest it. I talked to her about the conclusions that I had pulled, and I said, and then I think I said, do you think knitting it with a lace weight would help? And she said, yeah, pretty much. And she agreed with me that if my tension's really tight, it's going to put strain on the yarn. And if the yarn is already a little bit on the fragile side, then putting that tension on it is only going to push that tension to the max and break it. So I got a navy blue. This is the Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal Tweed in Midnight. And this is the navy blue. It's slightly different, but it's not. They're not horrible together, are they? I don't know if I've got the tag. I don't think I do. But this is Filatura de Crossa, I think is how it's pronounced, I don't know. Nirvana. So it's a lace weight. It's the same yarn that I'm knitting my wispy cardigan in, which I haven't touched in way over a year. But obviously this is blue and not green, because the wispy's green. I think it's a 2-ply yarn, but it does not break easily. And it's thin enough that it's not adding much bulk to the lace, and it's strong enough that this is no longer breaking. And so I have been able to knit quite happily on the lace with absolutely no dramas, and I'm really, 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 really happy with how it's turning out. And the thing about this that I have to say is that it's quite a soft yarn. Like, it's really, really soft, really smooth, really, it's like having like a really lovely cushion against your skin. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And even though the Debbie Bliss is a really nice yarn. It's got cashmere in it, but it's just on a tiny little bit. I don't know how it'll wash, but it is just a little bit on the coarse side. Like I can, every now and then, like if I've got a little rough bit of skin, it snags a little bit on the fibers, so they're just a little bit coarse, and it feels just a tiny little bit scratchy on the face, only a tiny little bit. But this Nirvana yarn that I've added in with it is just helping soften up that lace bit. So when I'm wearing it around, like having that lace section around my neck, I think it's really just going to compensate and add that softness. So I'm not getting that kind of coarse, almost coarse. I'm not going to say it's entirely coarse, but almost coarseness of the Debbie Bliss. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So I'm really, really, really happy with it. And yay for me, Knomies, for figuring that out. I am a knitting legend. So, lesson to be learned. If you are a tight knitter like me and you are having trouble with a yarn that's breaking, if you can, compare it to other yarns that are a similar weight and ply. Think about where you've stored it, like have bugs got into it, because I know that nothing's got into that, and the original ball was the same. Just have a good think about all of those different factors that could be impacting the yarn, and then also think about what your tension is like, and consider adding like a lace weight yarn in with it to just give it that extra strength. So yay, I'm really excited about that, and I'm carrying that around in my little skein in the big wool Anna Green Gables bag. Hang on. That I really, really love. Look, there's Anne. Did anybody else get really upset when they found out that Jonathan Crombie had passed away? I did. I got really upset. I think my oldest daughter did too. And even now when I watch Anna Green Gables, especially the sequel, I'll be watching Gilbert going, oh, he's so sweet. Oh, he's died. Oh, that's so sad. But then I'm just a big soppy girl. So I am. So the other thing that I have been working on is my Emily's Favourite Socks 2 at a time. So the yarn is still a massive tangle. I have finally finished the cuff. Saturday night I just wanted to put on some nonsense TV that was going to make me laugh, and so I watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many times I've seen that movie, but I still crack up every single time. There's always something new to laugh at. It's just hysterical. Hysterical. My mum's family, my mum was originally from South Africa. And my husband said to me the first time he met all the family, it was at one of my great uncle's funerals. He watched them all walk into this funeral parlour, and he turned to me and he said, are you related to the South African mob? They were a scary bunch of people. But I kind of identify with the movie a little bit. Not that my family is in everybody else's business like they are in the movie, like in Tula's family, but just the same kind of, like some of the cultural idiosyncrasies, even though they're very different, there are just some things that are just very similar. Some of the attitudes that I sort of saw coming out, or, you know, the way they behave when they're all together, like just little things that just, like we didn't spend a lot of time with all of my mum's family. They weren't that close for a lot of reasons, but when we did get together, there were just certain things. And I am probably the whitest, most British looking out of all, except for one of my mum's cousins, who was blonde haired and blue eyed and looked probably more Greek than South African, but has a very thick South African accent. But we would go along to like family reunions and stuff, and I felt like I stood out like a sore thumb because I took after my dad's very British side of the family rather than my mum's very ethnic side of the family. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, yeah, it was just funny. I'd be sitting there going, oh my goodness, I look so different to everyone else. Because I'm really tall. All of my aunts are like super short, like really, really, really short. My mum was really relatively short as well. My Auntie Joy is like tiny. And I had fair skin and blue eyes, and they've all got, you know, like really dark hair. My mum had an afro, really dark brown eyes. Yeah, so I always looked very different to all of them. Even the ones that didn't look like my aunts and uncle. I still look very different to you. But anyway, why am I telling you this? Anyway, so this is my Emily's favourite sock. Knitting on it while I was watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding and thinking about my own crazy family. And I measured it and it was just shy of 1 inch on my measuring tape. And I thought, I'll do another round just so I know that I've definitely got 1 inch. I now have close to 1.25 inches. I don't know what I was doing. It was Saturday night. I was really tired, and knitting in the dark. So, well, not quite the dark, but darkish. So it's a little bit longer than 1 inch, but that's okay. Actually, I don't mind that because I am using a contrasting yarn. I actually like the fact that I've used a little bit more of the darker brown because it'll just add, like it's not going to be like a tiny little strip of dark brown. It'll be a decent amount of dark brown. And actually, I wonder, because I should knit it the same length as my toe. That could be interesting, couldn't it? No, it's almost the same length as my toe. Because then, like, then, you know, like I'd have this lovely uniformity in the end of my toe. I don't know what I'm doing. So, anyway, it's just a little bit shorter than my toe. But I really don't want to do any more 1x1 rib. So I'll leave it at that. But that's a decent size cuff. Quite happy with that. Ready to join in the next yarn, which I don't know, I'll do at some stage. I didn't do it on Sunday night because I went, I've got to get off my couch, which I had to do anyway to get the Ivana. And I have to join yarn in and I have to do this and I just can't be bothered. So I didn't do it. And I didn't knit on it yesterday, but that's okay. That's okay. It's done. It's ready to go. So I'm really enjoying that sock. I'm looking forward to untangling my tangles. And yeah, that's all I've worked on. That's all I've worked on. So what do we have left to talk about at almost 40 minutes? This is a nice long episode. This is good. I haven't done a really long episode for a while because I've been trying to keep them short, but it's nice to do a long one every now and then. And I don't feel like I've really talked to you lately. I feel like I've just kind of come and gone and then buggered off again. So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the giveaway? Or do you want to talk about yarn? Let's talk about yarn. I like keeping people in suspense. So, I got some new yarn. So I think I said to you, lovelies, after I finished my last, after I finished my second pair of tricolour socks, that I bought new yarn. And it took so long to get here. Like, it came from England. Usually it takes about a week. It took more like 2. I was starting to get cranky because I was stalking the letterbox every day. So I have to tell you that I was looking for cheaper yarn, not the cheapest, just cheaper. Like, I had a budget. Otherwise, you know, like I would have bought some Stray Cat socks because I'm dying to use some of her yarn, but I had a budget. I was trying to stay within my budget. And I'm also I've got so much self-striping yarn at the moment that I'm kind of a bit, I don't really want to knit on stripy socks just at the moment. And that's okay. So anyway, so I was looking, and I love getting yarn from different places. I didn't, you know, like, as in trying new dyes. So generally speaking, I start with Australia. I see what's available in Australia, and then I sort of look further afield. So I did that this time. Looked in Australia, couldn't find anything that I wanted in Australia. Looked a little bit further afield, and this yarn comes from Viking Yarns. Sorry for all the crinkling. Viking hand-dyed yarns. And this is her classic sock base. 25% superwash, 25% nylon. No, not 25% superwash, 75%. It's a 4-ply. 400 meters, sorry, 100 grams, Pebble Ridge. Look at these. Look at these greens. Greens and grey. And it was the green and grey that got me. Especially this green. Actually, both greens. This is turning up far more green than it actually is. It's more like, almost like a apple green, but you can't really see that there. So this is it. So this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to knitting this up. And I'm actually debating whether to start a new pair of socks. Moira from Knitting in Stitches gifted me the clover sock pattern, and unfortunately my phone is over there charging, so I can't even bring up a photo of it to show you. But she gifted me this really cool sock pattern, so I'm hoping that this yarn works with that sock pattern. But yeah, I'm not. If it starts to stripe, which I have a feeling it might do, I don't know. It may not look so good, but we'll see. I'll say, if it just says, no, I just want to be vanilla sock, then I'll just do vanilla. But I really like this yarn. And Moira, thank you so much for that pattern. It was lovely. It's lovely. I can't wait to knit with it. So I was keen all weekend to skein it. Oh, sorry, to cake it up. But I really wanted to show you what it looked like in the skein, because it's really fun. So yeah, so hopefully by the time you see me next, I'll have caked it up and even started knitting on it, so you can see what it's like. So yes, so Viking yarns in England, the suburb is called Appledore. How cool is that? Appledore. It just sounds good. It feels good in my mouth saying it. Appledore. Appledore. I can understand why, was it Cameron Diaz? Is that her name? The actress? Was it her? That called her, no, it wasn't her. Gwyneth Paltrow. Got no idea about actresses. I can understand why she called her daughter Apple, because it just sounds so nice saying it. Apple. Apple. A bit out there for me, but still nice. I like that word, apple. Anyway, so that's my yarn from Appledore in England. My cousin also sent me some yarn. My cousin went to a fibre fest down near Wollongong, which is actually it's further along the coast, down the coast than that. So it's on the coast. I'm in the mountains. It's down that way. Look it up on Google Maps. Okay. Random question. Do you ever get on, you might be listening to somebody talk about a place, like if you're watching a podcast, they may be talking to you about, downtown wherever, or, the park they went to or whatever. Do you ever get an urge to go and Google it and see where they are? Because I've done that occasionally. I think I was, somebody was talking about Indiana, I think. And I went, I want to know what, she might have been talking about a yarn store. I wasn't trying to find out where the podcaster's house was, and I promise I'm not about to go stalking anybody. I live in Australia, for crying out loud. I can't go to, and I've got 6 children. I can't go to the US. I have no money. But I was really curious to see, or maybe they were talking about where they went on holidays or something. But I was really curious to see what it looked like. So I went and Googled it, and then just sort of drove around the suburbs with Google Maps. Does anybody else do that? Does anybody else do that? I think I might have even done that with South America somewhere, because I went, oh, I want to know what that is. What's it like there? Please tell me I'm not the only one that does stuff like that. All right, anyway, so my cousin who lives down near Wollongong went to a fibre fest that was down along the south coast. Not like south coast, but south coast of Sydney. I don't know. Wollongong area, down a little bit further, place called Gerringong. Google it. Anyway, she went to a fibre fest and she saw this yarn and she thought of me, and so she bought it for me. She had seen me posting pictures of socks on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram as Knit with Jam. And yeah, so she sent me this yarn because she thought that I would love it. So there's a little bit of green in there. So I think it's very soft. It's J-Wool Magic, and it's 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide, or polyamide, or whatever you want to call it. I think it is only a 2-ply yarn. So I don't know. I think it'll make a fun pair of socks. It's relatively soft. She did say it was for sock knitting, so I should knit socks with it, shouldn't I? I actually wonder if I should, what would be fun about these is to find a contrasting yarn and then do some stripes or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just knit some vanilla socks because they would be nice too. So my cousin doesn't watch my podcast. I don't even know if my cousin knows that I record a podcast, but to my cousin Sarah, thank you. I'm quite excited about these. So I almost want to knit like a shawl out of it. You know, like find a really dark plum and then do like, I don't know, and then stripe the two, because I think that would be really fun too. I don't know. I'll let it marinate in my stash and then make a decision. I'm sure it'll speak to me. I think it really says shawl. Seriously. What's the yardage on it? 400 meters. I don't know. She did say socks. I kind of feel bad if I didn't knit socks with it, but I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Oh, giveaway. Giveaway. All right. So because there was chatter in the thread, which is fine. I'm happy for people to talk. What I did was I did an Excel sheet and I gave everybody raffle tickets. So so there were numbers assigned. Like if you knit 5 socks, you got 5 raffle tickets. So, and then I added all the raffle tickets together. There were 15 raffle tickets all up. And I used random 15 pairs of socks. That's pretty awesome. And I used random.org to pick a number between 1 and 15. And the number that was pulled up was number 9, which is Sabine P.E. Sabine P. Anyway, Sabine from Germany. So Sabine, send me a message on Ravelry. And you get to win this beautiful shawl pin from Tonya, who donated this to us, who used to sell them at her local yarn store, and they no longer exist. Tonya, these are awesome. They are awesome. And if you ever feel the urge to send me some more, I won't say no. I will not say no. In fact, I really think you should be selling them on Etsy, but that's just me. So thank you very much to Tonya for sending me this awesome shawl pin to give away on the podcast. And congratulations to Sabine. Like I said, send me a private message with your address and I'll get that in the post as soon as possible. I'm pretty excited because I've never sent anything to Germany before. I've sent stuff to the UK, I've sent stuff to Canada, I've sent stuff to the US, never to Germany. So this is really exciting. You have to message me because I want to send something to Germany. Tick that off my bucket list. Okay, Knomies, that's it for my hyperactive brain explosion on you today. I hope that you are keeping well. I would like to say that I'll be back next week with another podcast, and I will say that, but I'm not going to guarantee it because goodness knows, I have 6 kids. For all I know, next week I'll have 10 of them in hospital. I've got 6 kids. I don't know how 10 of them will end up in hospital. I doubt that will happen. I doubt any of them will be in hospital, although my boys, oh my goodness. I'm sure my 10-year-old son, Eli, has a death wish. Like no, he's not 10, he's 8. He careens around like he's on some kind of kamikaze mission. It's insane. And my younger son, Gideon, is not much better. And then I've got the baby who pulls stuff out of cupboards and then climbs in. We found him. Okay, sorry, I will go in a minute, but I've got to tell you this story. The other day, actually it was yesterday, my husband and I are in the kitchen eating breakfast and talking. Our youngest son, Judah, goes quiet. And I knew he was in the pantry, and what he likes to do is he likes to go into the pantry and pull everything out of the drawers. You know, like the ones that he can reach. So I've had, bread flour, packets of bread flour pulled out. I've had tins pulled out. I've had onions pulled out and all the skins just scattered all over the floor. I've a range of things, right? So because he was so quiet, I said, Judah, where are you? What are you doing? And I walked to the other end of the kitchen bench and peeked in the pantry. And there he was sitting in the cereal drawer. So our cereal, because they're usually quite large boxes, is on the bottom shelf. It's a pull-out drawer. And it was empty because all the cereal was on the bench. And he had climbed in and was just sitting there in the drawer, looking like a cat. I keep saying to my husband that I'm sure this child is a cat, because the things he does are so cat-like. Not that I've ever owned a cat, but anyway. Anyway, so that was a random story about my child. And if you've been following me on Instagram, then you know about the cookie in the cupboard and my son in the cupboard and now my son in the pantry. One day he's going to climb those shelves and I'm going to find him sitting on the top shelf. I hope not. I seriously hope not. I love him so much. He keeps me on my toes. He's so cute. All right. Well, anyway, that's it for me. It's been, oh, look, 50 odd minutes. This is a long show. Hooray. Anyway, so I hope you're keeping well and I will talk to you again next time. Happy knitting. Bye, Knomies.